When you're working with water ionizers, you have all kinds of different connectors and fittings and hoses and things like that. Now, and also when you're working with water filters, same thing, all these different things to look at and think about. And I'm just using this video as a way to demonstrate control over your filter or your water ionizer. By just having a little bit more knowledge about these things, you can have better control over these things and then maybe save yourself the cost of a handyman or this type of thing. They're not hard to control or understand. Now let's just start with the first thing I touched, which is this is a connector. Now what it does is it connects one hose with another, and it also will act as what I call a sand catcher. It's like a mini little filtration inside that will catch rust and sand before it goes through and damages your filters. So a lot of these are popular to get. You push one end of the hose in like that, and you look at the arrow on it to see which way the water should flow. And then let's say you were going to put this before your water ionizer, you would cut the line somewhere before your water ionizer, insert this, and then make sure the water's flowing this way, and then insert another hose right into the other end. And then it would just continue the hose right on to your water ionizer or water filter or whatever it is you're trying to, save it from the rust and pebbles and, sediment that gets through. All right, so now to remove that, you just pinch that little ring. It's a quick connect fitting, so you have to pinch it and then remove it that way. Hosing is something I just want to talk about real briefly. You want to get NSF, National Science Foundation, certified hosing to make sure that it's free of BPA or other chemicals that would potentially leach into the water. All right, this particular hosing is 1/4 inch hosing, but you can get different sizes, just depending on what your filter requires. Now there are different kinds of tees that would go under your sink to supply the water. Here's one, and what would happen is this would go between your water shutoff and your cold water feed line, and I have a separate video showing you how to install that. Very simple, but then this hose would fit right in. That's a quick connect fitting. Not all tees will have quick connect. I'm just gonna real quick pull that out. Not all tees will have quick connect fittings. Some have compression fittings. Now this is just an example of a tee that has a compression fitting. When you see something that looks like a little barbed piece and then it has a nut on it, you will no, that's a compression fitting. All right, now you have to install this onto the water line first because you're going to screw it over. Then you push, and it takes some strength. Push and wiggle. You want to get the hose to go flush with the end of that, right over the barb and flush with it. Now you will screw this all the way on, and it won't leak and it won't go anywhere. So, and you probably need pliers or something like that to tighten that up. So that's the kind of tee that has the compression fitting. Now to remove that, you just wiggle, 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 and it comes off. Okay, so now we've got some other types of fittings here. This might actually be a fitting that that is already pushed into your water ionizer like this, and there it is, just a quick connect. Same thing, the hose pushes in. Make sure it pushes in enough to get seated. You want to not be able to get any more movement out of it. And then to remove it, you pinch and pull. There is a tool that you can use that will hold, so you can use one hand to pinch and pull it, but I find that just using my fingers is good enough. There's a lot of different fittings that use quick connects, and same methods are used to install and work with those. Every so often you'll see a water ionizer come with a plug. Now this plug, if you don't have a plugs, if you've thrown them away or something like that, buy another one. You need your plug. This is an important feature of a water ionizer or a water filtration system, is to be able to have a plug. Why? Because if you want to disconnect that water ionizer or water filtration system and you want to move it from one house to another or whatever, travel with it, go on the airplane with it or whatever, you don't want it to leak. Especially with a water ionizer, you do not want it to leak because the electronics may get damaged if it leaks. So you need to put a plug on every port of the water ionizer. If you have a quick connect fitting, you need this kind of plug. When you see a plug like this, you need to remove it carefully, and by pinching and pulling just as you would any quick connect. Now, you don't just pull and yank and go get a pliers and yank it out, because what's going to happen is you're going to damage the quick connect. That would not be the end of the world, because you could always buy another quick connect fitting, but these things are expensive. They don't look expensive. I'm going to tell you, this probably costs about $4, just this little tiny piece of plastic, because of the quick connect technology is expensive. Now that's one kind of plug. There are other kinds of plugs that you need for your water ionizer. Sometimes you have a water ionizer that has a barbed thing coming out, and you need a plug that will cover that up so that water won't drip out that way. And that's a plug for that. I thought I had another example of plug, but there are other examples of plugs. You want every place water could come out of to be plugged up. I wanted to show you the use of this little thing, which is kind of cool. If you have a hose that is installed like that, and you want to keep it, you're going to be moving this machine around, and you don't want this hose to get messed with, you can put this ring on it. Once the hose is in the way you want it, then just stick the ring on. You will not be able to pull that hose out because you won't be able to pinch it in, and it can't accidentally fall out. So if you see a line that already has one of these yellow things on it and you want to remove the hose, you're going to have to take the piece out, remove the hose by pinch and pull, and then when you reinstall it, then put that piece back in, because there probably was a reason for that. You don't want to lose any of those pieces. So I've said a lot in one video, and I haven't really spoken much about these hoses. There are sometimes rubber hoses used for the acidic water line of a water ionizer. Now, always the food grade NSF quality water feed hose should be this NSF certified hose. But rubber is a good quality hose, and it's fine for acidic water, and it's used because it will drape easily over the sink. It's easily pliable. It's not real hard like this, which then just kind of sticks out funny. So this is a nice type of hose for acidic water, but I just wanted to show you how to manipulate that. Now, sometimes you will find that, or when you're installing this hose, if you're installing your machine above the counter where you're going to see leaks and it's not going to be a problem, I would highly suggest not pushing the hose all the way onto the barbed piece. I would suggest just pushing it on so far that it will have enough room for you to put your little ring-shaped clamp thing on there. Now, that's good enough. It won't leak. But if you are installing it under your sink, or or if the fitting is inside the water ionizer, really you should not be opening up your water ionizer by yourself, because in every case I know of, it voids your warranty. But if it's going to be inside your water ionizer or under the sink, you should push the line all the way up to the end and then put your ring clamp on there, and that, like this was done. But the one thing about that is when you go to remove that hose, you won't be able to, because it's just not going to come off. So what you'll have to do to get it off is cut it, take a scissors and cut it like that, and then take a razor blade and cut it carefully like this so that you don't actually scratch the piece. And then you'll be able to when you get it cut enough, you'll be able to pull it off. It'll break the rest of the way. Okay, I think I demonstrated everything here, and in record time too. So thanks for watching, and go to the link underneath this video to find out more about these various fittings and see more about water ionizers and water filter systems. Thank you.